Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to a conversation about life, joy, and finding peace in your golden years. You've worked hard, raised families, built careers, and faced life's challenges with courage and grace. Now, you deserve to embrace a time filled with tranquility, meaningful connections, and self-care. This chapter of life is not just about reflection. It's about making choices that honor your happiness and well-being. But let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like some relationships in your life take more from you than they give? Maybe it's a family member, a friend, or even a neighbor who constantly demands your time, energy, or resources. Their actions might leave you feeling drained, unappreciated, or even frustrated. If that resonates, let me assure you, you're not alone. The truth is, the people we surround ourselves with play a huge role in how we experience our golden years. They can either uplift us, filling our lives with warmth and joy, or they can pull us down, leaving us feeling burdened and depleted. Recognizing and addressing these dynamics is an act of self-love, and it's something every one of us deserves to do. In today's discussion, we'll explore how certain types of toxic relationships can impact our peace of mind, and how to gently but firmly set boundaries to protect our emotional well-being. We'll talk about 5 specific types of people who may unintentionally, or sometimes intentionally, bring negativity into your life. More importantly, we'll discuss practical steps to handle these situations with kindness and strength. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new video drops. Your support truly makes a difference. If you found value in this video, a like and share would mean a lot in helping me reach more people with these important lessons. And I'd love to hear from you. If you're enjoying this topic, leave a 1 in the comments, or a 0 if you'd like to see something different. Your feedback helps me improve and bring you the content you want. So, grab a cup of tea or coffee, get comfortable, and let's start this important conversation. Point 1. The manipulator. Manipulators are often subtle in their approach, making their requests seem reasonable or urgent. They thrive on your sense of responsibility and kindness, turning these beautiful traits into tools for their own benefit. While their behavior may not always be intentional, the impact on your emotional well-being can be significant. Imagine this scenario. A family member calls, asking for a small favor. Maybe they need a ride to an appointment or help with paperwork. At first, you're happy to help. It's what you've always done. But over time, their requests become more frequent and the tone shifts. Suddenly, it feels less like a favor and more like an expectation. If you hesitate or say no, they might guilt-trip you, implying that you're neglecting them or being unkind. Sound familiar? Manipulators often frame their needs as emergencies, creating a dynamic where saying no feels impossible. They rely on your nurturing instincts, knowing that you'll prioritize their needs over your own. While helping others is a wonderful quality, constantly catering to a manipulator's demands can leave you feeling drained, resentful, or even trapped. Instead of enjoying the freedom you've earned, you may find yourself bogged down by errands, phone calls, or guilt trips. The first step in addressing this dynamic is recognizing it. Ask yourself, does this person enrich my life, or do they take more than they give? Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and care. If you find that a manipulator consistently leaves you feeling exhausted or undervalued, it's time to reassess their role in your life. Once you've identified this pattern, setting boundaries becomes essential. Start with clear, kind, but firm communication. The next time they ask for a favor, try saying, "I'm sorry, but I can't help this time." There's no need to explain or justify your decision. A simple no is enough. Remember, their reaction to your boundary doesn't define your kindness or worth. Another strategy is to redirect their dependency. For example, if they often ask for rides, suggest they explore local transportation services. This not only helps you reclaim your time, but also encourages them to take responsibility for their own needs. It's important to recognize that helping someone doesn't mean sacrificing your peace. Finally, practice self-compassion. Manipulators thrive on the belief that you'll feel guilty if you stand up for yourself. But saying no isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. By setting boundaries, you're not only protecting your emotional health, but also teaching them to respect your time and energy. Your golden years are meant for joy, peace, and meaningful connections. By addressing manipulative relationships, you make space for the people and activities that truly enrich your life. Always remember, prioritizing your happiness is an act of love for yourself, and it's a choice worth making every single time. Point 2. The narcissist. Narcissists are people who prioritize their own needs, stories, and desires above everyone else's. While they don't always act out of malice, their behavior often leaves you feeling overshadowed, invisible, and emotionally drained. In your golden years, when your stories, wisdom, and experiences should be celebrated, interactions with narcissists can be especially disheartening. Picture this. You're sitting with family or friends, eager to share a cherished memory from your younger days. Just as you begin, someone interrupts and steers the conversation toward themselves. You try to interject, but the same pattern repeats. They dominate the discussion, leaving little room for anyone else. Over time, you might feel like your voice doesn't matter or that your stories aren't valued. This can be frustrating, particularly because your experiences are a vital part of your legacy. Narcissists often lack the empathy to see beyond their own narratives, and this inability to connect can leave you feeling isolated. They don't intentionally set out to hurt you. They're simply consumed by their need for attention and validation. However, the result is the same. They diminish the joy of sharing meaningful moments. To protect your emotional well-being, the first step is recognizing this behavior. Reflect on how these interactions make you feel. Are you left feeling unheard or undervalued? If so, it's time to set boundaries that reaffirm your worth. Start by asserting yourself in conversations. For example, if a narcissist interrupts you, gently but firmly say, "I'd like to finish what I was saying." This statement reclaims your voice without escalating the situation. If they dismiss your feelings, you can respond with, "I hear your perspective, but this moment is important to me." These simple but direct statements can help shift the dynamic and remind them, and yourself, that your contributions matter. It's also wise to limit the time and energy you spend on these relationships. While cutting ties may not always be possible, especially with family members, you can set boundaries around how often you interact. Choose settings where their dominance is less likely to overshadow others, like group gatherings, and keep interactions short if they tend to leave you feeling drained. Most importantly, seek out relationships with people who truly value and uplift you. Friends, family, or community members who listen and celebrate your stories can provide the meaningful connections you deserve. These relationships nourish your spirit and honor your life's journey. Finally, remind yourself that a narcissist's inability to appreciate your worth says nothing about you. Their behavior stems from their own insecurities, not your value. By focusing on relationships that enrich your life, you reclaim your time and energy for the things and people that truly matter. Point 3. The critic. Now, let's talk about the critic. Someone who always seems to find fault, no matter how much effort or care you put into something. Critics often disguise their negativity as helpful advice, but their constant judgment can chip away at your confidence and joy, especially in your golden years when you deserve to live authentically and without fear of scrutiny. Imagine this. You've recently started a new hobby that brings you joy, maybe gardening, painting, or learning a musical instrument. You're proud of your progress and eager to share it with others. But then, someone remarks, "Why are you spending so much time on that? Shouldn't you focus on something more practical?" Instead of feeling encouraged, you're left questioning your choices and enthusiasm. Critics often position themselves as well-meaning, claiming they're only offering feedback to help you. But in reality, their words can stem from their own insecurities, envy, or need to control. They focus on what they perceive as flaws instead of celebrating your strengths or understanding your choices. Over time, this pattern of judgment can leave you feeling inadequate or second-guessing your decisions. For seniors who have lived full, meaningful lives, this type of negativity can be especially hurtful. You've earned the right to enjoy your passions, make your own decisions, and embrace your unique journey. Critics, however, can undermine this sense of freedom and autonomy, creating doubt where there should be confidence. To navigate relationships with critics, the first step is to recognize their behavior for what it is: opinions, not facts. Their judgments do not define you or your worth. When you receive criticism, ask yourself, is this feedback helpful? Does it come from a place of care and respect? If the answer is no, let it go. Their negativity is more about them than it is about you. When responding to a critic, remain calm and confident. If someone questions your choices, you might say, "I appreciate your input, but I'm happy with how I'm living my life." This simple statement reaffirms your autonomy and gently sets a boundary. By focusing on your satisfaction and happiness, you remind both yourself and them that your decisions are yours to make. Another effective strategy is to redirect the conversation toward positivity. For example, if someone critiques your appearance, respond with something uplifting like, "I feel great, and I'm proud of how I take care of myself." This not only reinforces your self-worth, but also discourages further critical remarks. Finally, surround yourself with people who celebrate and support you. Friends, family, or community members who uplift your spirit and remind you of your accomplishments can provide the encouragement critics lack. These relationships will help you stay focused on the joys of your journey. Your golden years are a time to embrace who you are and what you love. Critics only have power over you if you let them. By filtering out unconstructive criticism and staying true to yourself, you reclaim the freedom to live fully and authentically. Point 4. The irresponsible. Now, let's talk about a different challenge: dealing with irresponsible people. These individuals often fail to take accountability for their actions, creating chaos or shifting the consequences of their poor choices onto others. For seniors, who have earned the right to enjoy peace and stability, relationships with irresponsible people can feel particularly draining and disruptive. Imagine this: a younger family member frequently calls, sharing yet another financial or personal crisis. Maybe they've overspent, forgotten to pay an important bill, or made a decision that left them in a bind. They come to you, expecting you to fix the situation, whether it's through financial help, emotional support, or problem solving. At first, you might oblige, thinking, "It's just this once." But soon, a pattern emerges. They continue to make poor choices, and each time, they turn to you to clean up the mess. Irresponsibility isn't limited to money. It could also involve neglecting important commitments, creating unnecessary drama, or expecting you to resolve conflicts they've caused. Over time, this dynamic can leave you feeling used, frustrated, and even resentful. While it's natural to want to help loved ones, constantly stepping in to fix their mistakes prevents them from learning accountability and independence. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward change. Ask yourself, does this person consistently rely on me to solve their problems? Do I feel obligated to step in, even at the expense of my own peace? If the answer is yes, it's time to set boundaries and encourage responsibility. Begin by understanding your limits and embracing the idea that it's okay to say no. For example, if a family member asks for financial assistance, you might respond with, "I'm sorry, but I'm not in a position to help this time. Perhaps you can explore other options." This statement is firm yet respectful, reminding them that their challenges are theirs to address. It's also important to resist feelings of guilt. Irresponsible people often use guilt as a tool to manipulate you into helping, implying that saying no means you don't care. But remember, saying no doesn't make you unkind. It means you're prioritizing your well-being and encouraging them to take responsibility for their actions. Instead of stepping in, offer alternative forms of support, like advice or emotional encouragement. For instance, you could say, "I believe you're capable of figuring this out. What steps can you take to resolve it?" By doing this, you show care without enabling their behavior. Finally, surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and appreciate the support you can offer without taking advantage. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect and understanding, not on dependence or obligation. Your golden years should be a time for peace, fulfillment, and joy, not for carrying the weight of others' irresponsibility. By setting boundaries and empowering those around you to grow, you reclaim your time and energy for what truly matters: the people, passions, and experiences that bring you happiness. Point 5. The ungrateful. Finally, let's discuss the ungrateful individuals in our lives. These are the people who fail to acknowledge the time, effort, and love you give. For many seniors, generosity and care are core values. You've spent a lifetime sharing your wisdom, resources, and kindness with those around you. But when your efforts are met with indifference, criticism, or even entitlement, it can leave you feeling hurt and undervalued. Picture this. You spend hours preparing a family meal, putting your heart into every dish to create a special moment for your loved ones. Instead of gratitude, you're met with complaints. Why didn't you make it the way you used to? Or, this isn't what I wanted. Their dismissive words overshadow the love and effort you poured into the occasion, making you feel as though your contributions are taken for granted. Ungrateful people often fail to see the sacrifices you make or the thoughtfulness behind your actions. Instead of appreciating what you offer, they come to expect it as their due. Over time, this dynamic can rob you of the joy that comes from giving, leaving you feeling discouraged or even resentful. The first step in dealing with ungrateful individuals is to recognize that their behavior reflects more about them than it does about you. Their inability to appreciate your efforts doesn't diminish the value of what you've given. It speaks to their lack of awareness or empathy. To protect your emotional well-being, start by setting boundaries around your time and energy. It's okay to scale back your involvement with those who fail to appreciate your efforts. For example, if a family member consistently dismisses your gestures, consider simplifying what you do for them. Focus on actions that bring you joy, regardless of how they react. This shift allows you to give from a place of love without tying your happiness to their response. Another important step is to redirect your energy toward relationships that reciprocate kindness and appreciation. Spend more time with friends, neighbors, or community members who value your contributions and make you feel cherished. These connections will remind you of the joy and fulfillment that generosity can bring when it's met with gratitude. Additionally, practice self-appreciation. Take a moment to acknowledge your own efforts and the love you pour into everything you do. Whether others recognize it or not, your kindness reflects your strength and character. Celebrate your achievements, both big and small, and take pride in the legacy you've built. When appropriate, consider addressing the behavior of ungrateful individuals through gentle communication. For instance, you might say, "It means a lot to me when my efforts are acknowledged." This can open the door to greater understanding and possibly improve the dynamic. Your golden years are a time to focus on what truly matters: peace, joy, and meaningful connections. By prioritizing relationships that uplift and celebrate you, you create space for the love and appreciation you deserve. Remember, your worth is not defined by how others respond to your kindness, but by the care and compassion you bring into the world. As we've explored today, your golden years are meant to be a time of peace, fulfillment, and joy, a well-earned reward after a life of hard work, love, and resilience. But the relationships we keep play a significant role in shaping this chapter of life. Whether it's manipulators, narcissists, critics, irresponsible individuals, or the ungrateful, recognizing and addressing these toxic dynamics is essential to safeguarding your emotional well-being. Setting boundaries isn't always easy, especially if you've spent much of your life prioritizing the needs of others. But remember, saying no or stepping back doesn't make you selfish. In fact, it's one of the most powerful acts of self-love you can practice. By prioritizing your happiness, you not only honor yourself, but also create space for relationships that are mutual, respectful, and enriching. Think about what you want your golden years to feel like. Imagine days filled with meaningful connections, activities that bring you joy, and a sense of peace that comes from knowing your time and energy are spent wisely. These aren't just dreams, they're choices you can make starting today. As we wrap up, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever dealt with any of the toxic relationships we discussed? What strategies have worked for you? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could inspire someone else to reclaim their peace and happiness. And remember, you don't have to navigate this journey alone. Surround yourself with a community of people who listen, uplift, and celebrate you. Whether it's friends, family, or neighbors, these connections will remind you of your worth and the beauty of this stage of life. Finally, if this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll continue sharing empowering tips and insights to help make your golden years truly shine. You've earned this time. Make it as beautiful as you deserve. Thank you for joining me in this conversation. Until next time, take care of yourself and cherish the moments that bring you joy. You are worth it.